Have you ever pushed beyond your limits, trading irreplaceable hours, giving everything to the hustle, only to watch your account balance drain away, vanishing as quickly as water seeping through open hands? Have you felt that despite disciplined saving and meticulous planning, an unseen expense, a surprise charge, or some new obligation always appeared, forcing you to begin again from the start? If that resonates with you, know that you are far from alone. For generations, a narrative about money has been passed down, a tale centered on scarcity barriers and the need to protect the little we possess. We learn to treat money as something to grip tightly, digits to defend with tension and fear, as an external fickle force, unreliable, erratic, and frequently distressingly missing. Yet now, in this very moment, I invite you to envision a radically different possibility. What if money were neither cold, metallic tokens nor stiff figures stamped in ink? What if money were not a fortress to guard, but a living river moving toward you, ever-flowing, dynamic, and responsive? Pause, breathe, bring that river vividly into your inner vision. It shimmers beneath a gentle sun. You can hear the soft music of water coursing over polished stones. It brings vitality and renewal, along with the certainty that it belongs to a cycle older than memory, a rhythm that continually restores and refills itself. Money, in its truest sense, is not inert or dead. It is a stream of sacred energy, life itself, taking on visible form and motion. The ancients recognized this truth. Scripture murmurs, "Your word is your wand." Each belief you hold, each statement you make about money, functions as a decree. That decree molds your experience, shaping the river, directing its flow in your life. And yet many of us absorb the opposite set of decrees. Money is hard to get. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to fight for every penny. We were trained to converse in scarcity's dialect, unaware that each phrase was quietly constructing a dam that obstructed the current. Today, we stand on the threshold of a different understanding. In this space, we refuse to struggle against the river. Here, we will not grasp anxiously at its surface out of fear. Here, we practice stepping into the stream, allowing it to wash over us and carry us toward realms of abundance larger than anything we previously imagined. This is not wishful fantasy. It is alignment with a deeper order. The river of divine provision has never ceased its movement. The enduring question is simply, will we permit its passage through our lives? Recall a moment likely from childhood when money carried no weight for you. Maybe it was a summer day you were barefoot on the grass and someone offered you an ice cream cone freely. Or perhaps you witnessed your parents share a relieved laugh when an unforeseen need was suddenly supplied. That feeling, effortless ease, simple joy, a quiet knowing, is your natural baseline. Scarcity came later. It was taught through language fears and the echoes of others' disappointments. But today, beginning now, we start returning that borrowed scarcity. Money, dear friend, is not the antagonist in your narrative. It is not the harsh, exacting master you were warned about. It is a servant to life, meant to circulate, to sustain, to create, and to bless. Picture the river once more. Watch it broaden. Notice how it kisses both banks, leaving behind fertile fields, blossoms, and flourishing trees. You are not standing apart from it. You are within it. Your needs, aspirations, and visions are sustained by that same continuous flow. In this state, the fear of not enough dissolves. There is no frantic tallying, no clinging, no hoarding. There's only confidence in the source, the very source that gives rain to flowers and light to trees. Pause with me for a moment. Soften your shoulders. Allow your breath to slow and lengthen. And silently within yourself affirm, I open to the river of divine supply. I allow it to carry me. I trust the source from which it comes. These phrases are not mere sentences. They function like a key turning in a lock. From here on, I invite you to set down the old narratives gently without force or shame. They were only reverberations of others' fears, and they were never truly yours. Your true wealth is not confined to coins or numbers. It lives in the limitless, continuous current of divine energy that has always been your inheritance. As we move more deeply into this path together, remember each thought is a seed. Every word becomes a decree, and your decree crafts the contours of your world. If you felt confined by the constant struggle for more, let's begin with a shared declaration. Type in the comments, I release struggle. Declare it and allow it to take form. Now the river widens before us and we step forward together. Have you noticed that when you clutch anything too firmly, sand in your palm, a relationship, even a cherished belief, it begins to escape? Money behaves the same way. The harder we squeeze, the less space it has to circulate, to breathe, to move, and ultimately to come back. In its deepest essence, money is not inert or dead. It is living energy in motion. It is aligned with the very power that causes the tides to surge and recede, the same pull that binds the moon to the earth and the earth to the sun. Consider the water cycle. Rain descends on mountains, threads into streams, gathers as rivers, and courses to the sea. Then sunlight lifts it skyward into clouds, and the pattern renews. No droplet truly disappears, it simply transforms. Money follows a similar principle. When you release money, it doesn't vanish. It travels into other people's hands, into making goods, into compensating talents and services. From there, it keeps circulating frequently, returning in forms and timing you could never have forecast. The central truth is this energy flows to places where it is invited and received. When you regard money as fixed, scarce, and inflexible, you unintentionally bar its way back. You erect a dam in the current, believing hoarding is safer than circulation. Yet nature teaches the opposite. Stagnant water becomes murky and lifeless, while running water stays clear, vibrant, and renewing. I once knew a woman, let's call her Maria, who lived perpetually afraid of not enough. She saved each coin not from prudence, but from anxiety. She kept lights off to trim the bill, denied herself small pleasures, and even skipped essentials. Though she maintained a modest savings buffer, her daily existence felt tight, cheerless, and suffocating. One day, she encountered a lesson that jolted her. If you want more to come in, you must first let some go. The idea scared her. Still, she started gently purchasing fresh flowers for her living room. She reframed it, this is not waste. This is inviting beauty. Then something curious occurred. Within a week, a friend handed her a gift card to her favorite cafe. Soon after, an unforeseen work bonus arrived. Allowing even a small flow seemed to crack open a seal that had kept everything stuck. From that point, she chose to circulate money on purpose. She settled her bills with gratitude rather than resistance. She tipped with generosity. She contributed to causes aligned with her values. Gradually, not only did her finances improve, they underwent a genuine transformation. because the current had been re-established. Picture money as sunlight. You cannot imprison it in a container. Once confined, it can no longer fulfill its purpose. Light must radiate, move, be received, and reflected, otherwise it loses the life-giving power that defines it. When you let money move with trust and gladness, you step into abundance's native rhythm. You take part in the grand exchange that animates life. Consider another natural metaphor: the seed. A seed sealed inside a jar never realizes its destiny. Placed into fertile soil, released in a way, it multiplies. One seed becomes a tree. The tree bears fruit. The fruit holds countless seeds. What you give up is not lost. It circles back multiplied. So I invite your reflection. Where in your life have you been hoarding not only money, but vitality and attention? Where have you latched the windows against fresh air, barred the door against the flow? More importantly, how would it feel to unlatch them now and welcome the movement again? Perhaps you worry that spending or giving will leave you empty. But recall this: the very source that once filled your hands can refill them. The same force that draws the tide in today will draw it in again tomorrow. This is not a call to impulsive or wasteful outlays. Wisdom and trust must cooperate. As a farmer sows in season and harvests in season, you can learn the cadence of your financial currents. The essential point is, this money's strength lies in circulation, not in confinement. Try this simple practice when you make your next payment. Be it a bill, a meal, or a gift, slow down for a breath. Silently affirm: as this leaves my hands, it multiplies and returns. I bless it on its journey. You may be astonished at how rapidly that one shift reframes your connection with money. For when you bless what flows out, you simultaneously bless what flows in. The truth is that you are not at the mercy of money's arrivals and departures. You serve as the conductor of its movement in your world. Your convictions, language, and energy form the riverbanks. Expand them, and the river expands with them. Constrict them with fear, and the river narrows accordingly. Now lean into this reality. Money is energetic and alive. It longs to move. When you receive it openly without gripping or dread, it travels to you, moves through you, and returns to you again. Let us speak a shared affirmation. Now type in the comments, I welcome the flow. Because energy travels toward open doors, and today you are the one choosing to open that door. A subtle falsehood has circulated for centuries, so gentle and persuasive that few ever think to challenge it. It declares, wealth is for the few. Prosperity must be earned by sweat, struggle, and sacrifice. It belongs only to those willing to fight for it. As a result, countless people spend their lives laboring beneath that belief, assessing their value by how many hours they can withstand and how much hardship they can bear. But what if I said, this is not a decree of the divine? What if I told you, this has never been your genuine inheritance? From your first breath, you belonged to an infinite source, not a source of rations and ceilings, but one that overflows without measure. Scripture does not proclaim, I came that they may have life and have it in scarcity. It says, I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. Abundance is not a prize for the specially deserving. It is the normal state of a soul attuned to its source. Consider sunlight. It does not select a single blossom and neglect the rest. It spreads freely across fields, trees, and every blade of grass. The real question is whether the seed will turn upward to receive that light. Still, how many look away, convinced they do not deserve it. How many were trained to fear or distrust wealth, to label it selfish or worldly, when it is in truth an expression of divine fullness? The industrialist Andrew Carnegie remarked, "The man who dies rich dies disgraced." His point was not that riches are immoral, but that wealth is meant for use and circulation to elevate and to serve others. Consider also Sarah Blakely, who transformed $5,000 in savings into a billion-dollar enterprise, not through rigid playbooks, but by trusting an inner prompt she could not fully explain. She frequently said, "I didn't know the rules, so I was free to make my own." That captures the essence of divine inheritance, moving past scarcity's logic into a posture of trusting abundance. When you receive prosperity as your birthright, you no longer have to prove your worthiness or rationalize its appearance. You recognize it as a natural extension of divine energy, like rivers that flow and stars that shine. Envision a vast treasure chest, neither locked nor concealed, open right before you. Within it rests everything you have needed: resources, openings, relationships, insights. This chest is not another's, it is yours. It has been waiting perpetually within your grasp. The key that opens it has never been sheer exertion, it has always been awareness. Yet for many, fear mutes awareness. Scarcity's voice whispers, "Do more, be more, suffer more." In that noise, the soul forgets it is already rich in spirit and joined to an inexhaustible supply. Let us pause here for a moment. Rest your hand gently over your heart. Close your eyes. Say softly, "I inherit prosperity. I was born into abundance. It is my divine right, and I claim it now." Let the substance of that statement settle in, not as a hopeful wish, but as a clear certainty. For when you truly accept your inheritance, something shifts. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop clinging and start allowing. The ever-present flow begins to show up in your life in ways you can see and touch. Do not mistake this for greed. Greed insists, "I must take more even if others lose." Divine prosperity affirms there is sufficiency for all. As I receive blessing, I extend blessing. Under divine law, your increase is not someone else's depletion. The river of abundance does not empty because you drink. It overflows, nourishing every bank along its course. You came into life rich in spirit. That richness expresses itself in many forms: sound health, calm of mind, joy-inspired ideas, loving connections, and yes, material and financial supply. Money is simply one channel through which your spiritual wealth becomes visible. The risk is not in possessing money. The real risk lies in losing sight of its source. If you assume your provision is confined to a paycheck, a portfolio, or a bank balance, you anchor your trust in what is limited. But the moment you recall that your supply is divine in origin, you shift your trust to what has no bounds, the infinite. This inner turn is the transformation that reorders everything else. You might well ask, if abundance truly belongs to me as a birthright, why haven't I encountered it in its fullness yet? The explanation is both straightforward and potent. Our lives tend to mirror not only objective truth, but the scope of what we are willing to believe can unfold for us. If your belief stays narrow, your lived experience contracts to that size. As your belief enlarges, circumstances stretch to meet it. This is the secret of affirmations. They act like seeds, steadily enlarging the inner garden until it can contain the full measure of your inheritance. So I ask you directly, are you willing to believe more? Will you tilt your face toward the light, open your palms to the river's current, and walk ahead as the heir you have always truly been. Speak this with me now, slowly, clearly, and with conviction. I inherit prosperity. Let this affirmation be today's planted seed. Just as surely as a seed grows into a tree, your declaration matures into experience provided you tend it, watering it with gratitude and steady trust. You entered life within a realm of limitless provision. The gates to that realm stand open even now. Scarcity is not merely a balance sheet issue. It is a state of mind and perception. It shows up as a quiet shadow that murmurs, "There isn't enough. You must guard what you have." Others are your competition. By contrast, abundance originates as a condition of the spirit and radiates outward. Its message is, there is more than enough. What is mine comes to me with ease. I am part of an infinite flow, and my increase is the increase of all. These two modes could not be further apart, yet their divide is largely unseen. The distinction resides in perception and inner framing. I once knew a man, let's call him Daniel, raised in a home where every coin was stretched and each purchase scrutinized. His parents were caring yet anxious. They kept bits of gift wrap for years just in case, and they whispered tense debates over the cost of electricity. When Daniel reached adulthood, his job was solid and his income comfortable. Nevertheless, inwardly, he remained the child who watched lights shut off early to cut costs. He spent sparingly guarded his finances from others and carried a persistent dread that crisis lurked nearby. This is scarcity consciousness, in a phrase, a locked room. The air stands stale, the light muted. You assume safety is gained by sealing the doors, yet in doing so, you exclude not danger, but life itself. Then Daniel met someone very different, Sophia. Her means were not much greater, yet she moved with ease and trust. She regarded money as a tool rather than a trophy to clutch. She gave open-handedly, invested in experiences, and described her dreams as if their arrival were certain. When Daniel wondered how she stayed so at ease about money, she replied, "I trust the flow. Every time I give, I know it circles back. Every time I spend, I bless it on its way." In her company, Daniel noticed something remarkable. Her life kept widening on its own. Opportunities sought her out. People were eager to collaborate. Unanticipated gifts and invitations arrived. It felt as if her openness exerted a magnetic pull that captures abundance consciousness in an image open fields. The sky stretches wide. The sun carries warmth. There is ample space to breathe, to move forward, and to grow. Here is the core truth: your consciousness configures your world. Two individuals may earn the same income, yet inhabit completely different realities, one dwelling in chronic fear of depletion, the other in steady gratitude for the many channels through which supply appears. The turning point begins not on a statement ledger, but in the language you speak to yourself. Scarcity says, "I can't afford this." Abundance says, "How can I align with this?" Scarcity says, "If they have more, I have less." Abundance says, "Their gain proves what is possible for me." Scarcity says, "Money is hard to come by." Abundance says, "Money is one of the many channels through which my good arrives." I invite you to picture your mind as a great, spacious room. Perhaps its windows have stayed latched for years. The air has grown stagnant. Light strains to get in. This is where scarcity consciousness has been residing. Now in your inner vision, approach the window. Set your hand on the latch and open it wide. Fresh air floods the room. Sunlight spills across the floorboards. You sense the whole space widening within you. This is the first step toward abundance consciousness, allowing the possibility that life favors you, that the universe is not rationing good, and that you are supported in far more ways than you can tally. As you open to this truth, evidence begins to appear: an unexpected gift, a timely opportunity, a simple act of kindness. These are the first green shoots in your life's field, confirming the soil was fertile all along. Let me be plain, you can walk out of the locked room at any time. You can step into the open field this very moment, not by making more money first, but by choosing a different belief. Scarcity is not your essence. Abundance is your true nature. So I ask, are you ready for it? Will you step from the dim enclosure out into the bright open sunlight? If so, let this be your declaration. Type in the comments, I step out. Speak it not as wishful thinking, but as a deliberate choice. As you declare it, notice the ground beneath you changing from rigid stone to soft living grass, from confinement to expansive possibility. The locked room now lies behind you. Before you, the open field extends without end. Every authentic journey reaches a point of recognition. You cannot haul the old patterns into the new chapter. Not because the past is bad, but because it simply doesn't fit the life you are growing into. That moment has arrived today. We have explored the river of divine provision money as living energy prosperity, as your birthright, and the wide open fields that characterize abundance consciousness. Yet before you step wholly into that current, we must first honor and then release what came before. Yes, honor it. Your former patterned scarcity thoughts and fearful routines were not foes. They acted as protectors formed when you didn't yet know a larger truth. They kept you cautious, meticulous, and vigilant, attempting in their limited way to keep you safe. But now, your safety arises from a new source, the recognition that divine supply is inexhaustible, the certainty that you are neither abandoned nor unsupported, the awareness that your good is assured. Therefore, today, we bless those old patterns and lovingly send them off. Close your eyes briefly. Picture a small wooden box before you. In your hands lie every money fear you've carried, recollections of unpaid bills, seasons of loss, voices insisting it's never enough. One by one, set each fear into the box. Do not rush and do not force, simply lay them down with gentleness. When the box is full, close the lid. Bind it with a ribbon, not to imprison, but to present it as a gift. This is your offering to the river. Now, in imagination, carry the box to the riverbank. The water is placid sunlight flickering on its skin. Kneeling, you set the box upon the surface and watch the current bear it away, slow at first, then swifter until it slips beyond the bend. You feel a lift within. Nothing essential has been lost, only what no longer serves your becoming. We smile because this is no funeral, it is a retirement celebration. We hand scarcity its gold watch and offer a sincere farewell. Thank you for your service. Your job is done. In the space that opens, there is room for something fresh to arrive. Now envision the river bringing a second box toward you, bigger, brighter, softly luminous. Inside rests the consciousness you are adopting: trust, gratitude, joy, generosity, creativity. It already belongs to you, though opening it remains your choice. You raise the lid. Light streams forth, not only filling you, but radiating around you, touching your actions, your encounters, and the opportunities moving your way. This moment marks the great shift in consciousness. It is not a hunt for something out there, but a remembrance of what has always lived in here. From now on, you carry a new guiding truth. You belong to the infinite flow. You are not chasing money. You are aligning with ongoing supply. You are not striving to become worthy. You are expressing the worth that is already yours. Pause here. Draw a deep breath in, and on the exhale, imagine the river's steady song. You notice its constant movement, timeless and sure. You rest in the peace that you are joined to that current always. Whether nearby waters run high or low, the source itself remains full. There's nothing left to force and nothing left to prove, only the choice to allow. The music softens a gentle harp, maybe the faint whisper of wind chimes drifting from afar. And as this chapter closes, we stand side by side at the riverbank, prepared for deeper waters ahead. The gates of abundance stand open, and you are already within them. Money, much like blood coursing through the body, or a river moving toward the sea, has to circulate in order to sustain life. When it moves, it feeds and renews. When it's stockpiled in fear, it grows stale. As a still pool breeds decay, when untouched, money grasped tightly in anxiety cultivates scarcity. But when it is put into motion by generous giving, wise investing, and joyful spending on what elevates the spirit, it expands. In circulation, it becomes vibrantly alive. The law of circulation stands as a timeless principle. What you release with trust comes back to you in multiplied measure. As Florence Scovel Shinn frequently affirmed, whatever man gives, he will receive back, sometimes from the same source, often from another. This is more than simple generosity. It is a spiritual exchange, a sacred transaction. Consider John D. Rockefeller's story. In his earlier years, though his fortune was immense, his health deteriorated so severely that he was warned he might not survive to his 54th birthday. The burden of his empire pressed on him like a stone. Physicians found no remedy. Commercial triumph had produced wealth, but it had also extracted his peace of mind. Then something shifted. He started to give, not from guilt, but with deliberate purpose. He funded hospital, schools, and research institutions' donations that would amount to billions in contemporary value. More crucially, he loosened the fists of fear and control. He transformed from a reservoir into a channel. The remarkable followed. His health recovered. He lived roughly 4 more decades and emerged as one of history's preeminent philanthropists. Money flowed through him like a river headed for the ocean, delivering blessings outward while returning vitality to him. The more he released, the more there was available for him to release again. Nature repeats this lesson. Water in motion is clear, vital, and life-sustaining. Water that is trapped and unmoving turns foul. In the same way, a person who clutches every dollar in fear often manifests the very lack they dread. But the one who releases with joy discovers a deeper law at work. The universe detests emptiness. Whatever you let go, in faith, creates space for new supply to enter. Speak the following aloud with me, slowly and deliberately, allowing each word to settle deep into your subconscious. As I give, I receive multiplied. As I release, I open the gates to my own abundance. I am a channel for the circulation of wealth. This is not an endorsement of impulsive outlays. True circulation is intentional. It can mean contributing to a cause that ignites your spirit, investing in your own growth and in tools that magnify your talents, or compensating others for their work with genuine gratitude rather than reluctance. The transformation occurs in the heart. You pivot from asking, "How do I keep?" to wondering, "How do I flow?" And once that inner pivot happens, money starts to operate differently in your experience. When you pay a bill, bless it with intention. "I send this payment forth to bless the hands that served me, and it returns to me multiplied." When you leave a tip, affirm inwardly, "As I give joy, joy returns." Circulation originates in a grateful heart. A heart confident in an infinite source does not hesitate to plant the seed. And like the farmer who sows in season, you will discover that the field of your life inevitably yields a harvest. So let me ask you, in what specific ways will you circulate money this week? Declare your intention. Say it aloud. Better still, write it publicly where others can witness it. In doing so, you announce to the universe, "I am ready to flow." Share at least one way you intend to circulate money this week. Declare it in the comments. Gratitude is far more than a courteous thank you. It functions as a force and a frequency, as a spiritual currency that pulls wealth toward you as reliably as a magnet draws iron. When you dwell in complaint, you transmit the message, "I am dissatisfied, I am lacking," and that signal repels blessing. Gratitude broadcasts the inverse, "I am full, I am provided for, I am prepared to receive more." This is why two individuals can share the same city, earn comparable incomes, and navigate the same economy, yet one flourishes while the other falters. The differentiator is often not effort, but energetic posture. Gratitude tips the balance. Tony Robbins shares that in his earliest, most difficult years, when he rented a tiny apartment and could scarcely afford food, he adopted a daily gratitude practice. Each morning, he would close his eyes and list everything large and small for which he felt thankful: the roof shielding him, the sun's warmth, the neighbor's laughter filtering through the wall. The practice transformed him. His carriage, his voice, and his inner framing all shifted. Soon, opportunities began to surface. Why? Because he no longer approached life as a beggar awaiting scraps. He met it as a wealthy man within already filled, and thus drawing more to himself. This echoes the principle Jesus taught in the parable of the talents. The servant who employed and valued what he was given received more in trust. The one who hid his gift out of fear lost even the little he possessed. Spiritual law answers to stewardship, and gratitude is stewardship at its highest expression. I invite you to experiment with a brief exercise. If possible, close your eyes. Picture yourself inside a golden chamber, radiant light descending from above. In your hands rests a small pouch filled with gold coins. Each coin represents a blessing: your health, your connections, the breath in your lungs, and the experiences that have shaped you. Feel their weight settling into your palm. Hear the gentle clink as they touch. Begin counting them slowly, not rushing, but savoring each coin as you name it. This coin is my family. This coin is my home. This coin is the gift of sight. This coin is the laughter I heard yesterday. As you count, something almost magical becomes evident. The pouch in your hand does not become lighter, it grows heavier. With every blessing you recognize, additional coins seem to form. Gratitude multiplies your portion because it opens the doorway for life to deliver even more. Pause here and voice 3 blessings out loud. They may be as sweeping as a breakthrough at work or as modest as the comforting warmth of the coffee beside you. Name them, savor them. Gratitude sets the table long before the meal appears. It effectively declares to the divine, I am ready to host the banquet of abundance. In turn, the divine responds by inviting the guest's opportunities, resources, and relationships to come in and populate your life, filling your home and heart. Here is the affirmation offered for you to hold, repeat, and embody. I count my blessings as treasures. Every thank you I speak is a seed that multiplies my harvest. I am wealthy in gratitude and therefore wealthy in life. If you can sense gratitude's power stirring within your spirit, no type. I receive using it as a clear signal to the universe that your hands, heart, and life are open to welcome even more. We inhabit a culture that idolizes speed and celebrates rapid outcomes above almost everything else. We tend to assume the quicker the result, the better the result. However, in the spiritual dimension, speed is not the true metric. Ripeness, readiness, and maturity are. A mango taken too early tastes bitter, and a rose pried open prematurely wilts ahead of its time. Likewise, wealth that arrives before your spirit is prepared often departs as swiftly as it appeared. Divine timing is the inner wisdom that counsels, wait not yet. The fruit is still sweetening, honoring the pace that ensures lasting goodness. When impatience surfaces, remind yourself that delays are not refusals. They are preparations, staging the conditions for sustainable, meaningful increase. Think of planting a seed you can water, nurture, and provide sunlight, but you cannot command it to grow on your timetable. Beneath the soil, hidden from view, the miracle proceeds. Roots spread and strengthen to support the future tree's weight and height. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, grasped this principle in practice, though she may not initially have named it divine timing. For years, she went door to door selling fax machines and endured rejection upon rejection. Each no felt heavy like another stone in her pocket, yet an inner whisper persisted. Not yet. Keep going. Eventually, she cut the feet from a pair of pantyhose and sparked a product idea, a tiny seed. She cared for that seed over years with research iterations and persistent pitching. Many doors remained shut, but when the season turned, a single door swung wide. Oprah featured her creation, and the harvest became unstoppable. Today, Sarah stands among the most successful self-made women in the world. In hindsight, she often reflects that those long years of preparation were not wasted at all. They were indispensable. If success had arrived earlier, she would not have been ready to bear its weight. The roots needed time to grow deep before the branches could sustain fruit. Impatience resembles poking the soil each hour to check for sprouts, an interruption that hinders growth. Trust, by contrast, allows the soil to work in peace. Trust affirms, if the promise is planted, the harvest is certain and rests in that assurance. Envision your desire, your picture of wealth and abundance as a seed placed in the most fertile soil. You planted it in faith. Your task now is not to unearth it for constant checks, but to water it with affirmations, feed it with gratitude, and guard it from the choking weeds of doubt. Close your eyes briefly. Imagine the faint ticking of a distant clock, the symbol of the world's impatience and the urge for instant outcomes. Gradually, the ticking quiets and gives way to a dawn bird's gentle song. The bird sings not because the sun has risen already, but because it trusts the sun will rise in its appointed time. That is the essence of divine timing, a willingness to sing before the harvest, because you are confident the season is assured. Here is the affirmation to anchor this trust in your heart. What is mine is already on its way. I trust the perfect season. I release the need to hurry for my blessings, arrive right on time. Whenever you feel compelled to push force or demand outcomes, recall that the sweetest, richest fruit ripens over the longest seasons. And when your season truly arrives, when the air changes and the gates swing open, no person and no obstacle will be able to bar your harvest. If you are prepared to align with divine timing, write "I trust my season," and let this declaration root within your spirit like a seed guaranteed to germinate and grow. There is a lesser-known truth about wealth that many overlook or misunderstand. Money by itself is restless. Absent purpose, it drifts, and without direction, it tends to leak away. Yet, when you assign it a mission, it organizes, focuses, and multiplies. Purpose-driven wealth possesses a destination and a why. It is money that understands its role in your life. The paradox is striking. The more your resources are directed to serve others, the more swiftly they expand for you as well. Chuck Feeney, the co-founder of Duty-Free Shoppers, accumulated a multi-billion-dollar fortune and then, while still living quietly, gave nearly all of it away. He funded universities' medical research and human rights initiatives without seeking attention. For years, he donated anonymously, declining his name on buildings. His satisfaction came from the real-world impact, not from public recognition. When asked his reason, he answered simply, "It's much more fun to give while you're alive." Chuck grasped a core spiritual law: when money is used as a tool for good, it ceases to be mere currency and becomes seed with the power to multiply. Scripture teaches stewardship, the conviction that what you possess is not solely for personal consumption, but entrusted to your care for wise management and the good of many. Picture a gardener cultivating a field to feed not only his home, but to help sustain the whole village. When your wealth aligns with a higher purpose, it gains a compelling reason to expand. Picture a river when it empties into a fertile valley where crops and communities flourish, additional tributaries gather. But if it drains into a barren pit and stagnates, the water recedes and dries. Consider this possibility. Perhaps your next level of abundance has paused, awaiting the mission you assign it. The universe is efficient and directs resources toward channels where they will circulate and do good. Speak the following out loud with clarity and intent. Money is my servant, not my master. It is a tool in my hands to build, to bless, to heal. My wealth has purpose, and therefore it must grow. This principle does not demand that you surrender everything or deny yourself comfort. In fact, the opposite is true. Living with purpose turns you into a visible demonstration of abundance, someone others can point to and say, "That is what wealth looks like when entrusted to the right hands." Therefore, today, I invite you to expand your dream, not solely for personal benefit, but for the wider world. If money arrived without limits, which cause would you finance? Whose life would you transform? What unique solution would you champion that only you are positioned to deliver? Allow that vision to serve as rich soil. Let your faith be the water that nourishes it. Then observe how swiftly the seed of purpose-led wealth begins to germinate and put down roots in your life. Write down a single purpose you would finance if wealth were unlimited. Say it aloud. Share it openly. Declare it with conviction. In assigning your wealth a mission, you provide the universe a compelling reason to route those resources to you. Faith functions as an unseen bridge stretching from your current footing to the prosperity you intend to experience. It is the inner certainty without external proof that your abundance is inevitable. not merely hoping, not casually wishing, truly knowing. Lacking faith, even the most promising openings can slide away beyond your grasp. With genuine faith, however, the tiniest seed can mature into a far-reaching empire. Mary Kay Ash, the visionary behind Mary Kay Cosmetics, did not construct her enterprise from privilege or special advantage, but from steadfast faith. After long years in sales, she encountered bias in a male-dominated field and retired in frustration. Still, her vision would not fade. She drafted a blueprint for the company she longed to see, a firm grounded in respect, empowerment, and mutual success. With only $5,000 in savings and unwavering faith, she launched the business. She invited her first beauty consultants in with the conviction that they could accomplish far beyond what others had ever suggested. And they did, because her belief spread and became contagious confidence. Faith is never passive. It is not reclining with the phrase, "one day," on your lips. Faith means stepping forward before you can see the bridge. It means making the phone call before you possess the perfect contact. It means readying the room in advance of the guest's arrival. The world's motto tends to be, "I'll believe it when I see it." Faith counters, "I'll see it because I believe it." Hear this clearly. Faith acts as the catalyst for wealth because it tunes your life to the frequency of certainty. The instant your heart knows the provision is already yours, the external world begins to reorganize itself to mirror that knowing. Let's engage in a call and response now. Speak with boldness. These declarations are crafted to rattle doubt loose from your spirit. I say, "My wealth is certain." You say, "My wealth is certain." I say, "Money flows to me easily." You say, "Money flows to me easily." I say, "I walk by faith, not by sight." You say, "I walk by faith, not by sight." Faith will invite you into rooms where you don't yet feel qualified and prompt you to voice dreams others dismiss as impossible. Faith will nudge you to plant when the earth appears dry and to celebrate the harvest even before the seed pierces the soil. You may wonder, what if I'm mistaken? What if it never comes? That line of questioning rises from fear, and fear is simply faith aimed the wrong way. Fear puts its belief in lack. Faith places its belief in supply. You decide which voice earns your trust. Here is the truth in plain terms. Every act of faith deposits a seed in the invisible realm. At times, the harvest arrives quickly. At other times, it matures slowly. Yet in all cases, the harvest remains certain. Today, Mary Kay Ash's company operates worldwide and generates billions in sales, yet she consistently attributed its rise to a single root, an unwavering conviction that the vision was already complete in the mind of God, long before it materialized on earth. I invite you to step into that identical certainty and wear it as your daily stance. Speak the next lines 3 times with strong conviction and a steady voice. I walk by faith. My wealth is inevitable. I am already the person who has it. Now picture yourself living this reality, not in a distant someday, but here and now. Listen for the conversations you would hold. Sense the grounded confidence in your body. Observe the generosity naturally pouring from you. Faith functions like the master switch that activates abundance's current. Once flipped, it remains on not through strain or force, but through your refusal to entertain doubt. Therefore, embed this truth deeply in your heart today and let it take root. Type "I walk by faith," allowing it to stand as your public declaration that the waiting season has ended. You are now living as though the wealth already belongs to you. When dawn's first light brushes your eyelids, you are doing more than rising to another calendar date. You are awakening into a fresh chapter defined by abundance and expanded possibility. In this tender moment, it is as if the universe bends near and softly asks, "What shall we create together today?" Before your feet reach the floor, draw in a breath, unhurried, deep, and full. Sense that inhale as the very breath of life, arriving with the wealth, opportunities, and provisions that this day has already set aside for you. As you exhale, let yesterday's anxieties, narratives, and constraints flow out of you. They do not belong in this new space. Now within this quiet, offer a greeting to money as you would to a cherished friend. Envision it inwardly as a warm, golden radiance moving toward you alive, welcoming and ready to support you in every endeavor. Speak gently as though addressing someone who stands just beside your bed. Good morning, my friend. I am grateful you are here. Today, we walk together in joy, in peace, and in plenty. Pause. Let that truth settle in your body and mind. This serves as your first morning declaration for the day. Allow it to rise from the heart, not merely from the mouth. I am open to the flow of infinite wealth. Money loves me, and I love money. Money serves me, and I serve the good it can do. Every dollar I spend returns multiplied under grace in perfect ways. Repeat it again and again until it feels anchored. With each repetition, the doorway opens a little wider. Every single word functions like a key turning in the lock. You are not pleading or supplicating. You are not merely hoping or wishing. You are making a declaration of present truth. Now let us enter a morning visualization together. Close your eyes and picture your day unrolling like a golden pathway before your steps. With each step, money shows up like petals strewn along your path, unexpected blessings, openings, and ideas appearing precisely where they are needed. You stoop to lift one, and as you do, 10 additional petals shimmer into view further along the way. The air around you carries the fragrance of new possibility. Envision yourself receiving payments, effortlessly watching balances rise, giving freely to people and causes you cherish, and continually resting in the safety of more than enough. Permit a smile to surface as you hold this vision. You are inhabiting it now, not postponing it for someday. When you open your eyes, move into your gratitude ritual. These might include the roof sheltering you, the food stocked in your kitchen, a recent payment received, or even the simple fact that you are learning to align with abundance. Next, add 3 additional blessings for which you're grateful, ones that are presently on their way to you. Voice them as though they have already arrived. I am grateful for my debt-free life. I am grateful for my overflowing savings account. I am grateful for my thriving, joy-filled work that pays me abundantly. Do not rush this part. Allow each statement of gratitude to sink in like a seed settling into fertile ground. From here, extend your daily money alignment practice into the small decisions that shape your day. Offer a blessing over the money in your wallet and in your accounts. Bless each bill as you pay it. Bless every coin you notice on the ground as a sign of flow. The words you speak are not empty. They operate as law within the unseen realm. The tone you maintain is not accidental. It serves as a magnet that draws corresponding outcomes from the unseen. Keep this in mind. Consistent practices are what open the doorway. The words you speak are what keep that doorway propped wide. Therefore, each day as the sun comes up, choose to rise in consciousness right along with it. Proclaim your wealth aloud. Envision your wealth clearly. Offer gratitude for your wealth consistently and sincerely. And if you're ready to treat this as a daily path, not a vague someday hope, then inscribe these words now in the quiet comments of your own heart, and maybe even share them with others. I open the door. Because once you open it, heaven's flow pours in at once. Every true fortune begins not with spare change in your pocket, but with deliberate words formed within your heart. Your present financial experience is determined less by sheer effort and more by the inner narrative you've been repeating often unconsciously. The very first time you heard "we can't afford that" or "money doesn't grow on trees," an automatic script started drafting itself in your subconscious mind. And here's the truth. Unless you deliberately pick up the pen to revise it, that outdated script will continue directing your life. Today, we will replace that script with a new one. Step 1. Bring the old script into conscious awareness. Close your eyes and recall a time in your life when money felt painfully scarce. Maybe it was a bill you had no idea how to cover. Perhaps it's a childhood scene of your parents whispering harshly about the family finances. Or maybe it was the sting of envy as you watched someone enjoy the financial freedom you craved. Allow that scene to surface, not to reopen wounds, but to reveal the background program that has been operating. Ask yourself gently and honestly, what belief about money was born in that moment? Perhaps it sounded like one of these "I have to struggle to survive." Money always runs out. I'm not the kind of person who can be rich. Whatever arises, write it down exactly as it appears. Do not judge the belief. Do not wrestle with it. Simply witness it with clarity. Step 2. Deliberately choose a new truth. Now picture that old belief sitting in your palm like a crumpled dog-eared page torn from an obsolete script. You possess both the right and the power to strike it through and author something new. If the old belief declared money always runs out your replacement, truth might be money flows to me constantly and abundantly. I am always supplied under grace in perfect ways. If the old belief insisted I'm not the kind of person who can be rich, your new truth could be, I am divinely designed for wealth, and I live in harmony with its flow. These words matter profoundly. They function like seeds, yet they must feel alive when spoken, not flimsy wishes, but truths your soul recognizes as long-standing facts. Step 3. Anchor. Your new story in genuine feeling words. Stripped of feeling are like seeds deprived of water. So close your eyes once more and visualize yourself inhabiting this new truth. If your new belief is, money flows to me constantly and abundantly, picture the flow in motion, incoming payments, surprising gifts, and steadily rising account balances. Feel the steady calm of knowing that provision is en route even before the need appears. If your new belief is, I am divinely designed for wealth, see yourself upright, shoulders back as though clothed in quiet royalty. You were never intended to beg from life. You were made to co-create alongside it. Breathe until your body loosens and settles into this reality. Let this truth migrate from spoken words to embodied knowing. A story illustrating transformation. Here is a story about someone who once stood precisely where you stand now. Her name was Elena. She had $42 remaining in her account, a stack of bills beyond counting, and a persistent knot twisting in her stomach. Her old money narrative was blunt, I never get ahead. That belief had followed her since childhood when she watched her parents lose the family home. When Elena started this work, she didn't simply try to think positive. She became rigorously honest. She transcribed her old story in black ink, then penned a replacement in gold on fresh paper. I am always moving forward. My income grows steadily, and my life is filled with unexpected blessings. Each day, she read that page aloud, summoning the feeling of it already being real. Initially, nothing looked different outwardly, but inwardly, something shifted. Her grip on the old script began to relax. 3 months later, a long-forgotten side project unexpectedly paid her $2,500. 1 month after that, she received a promotion that raised her salary by 40%. By the 6-month mark, she noticed the old stomach knot had been absent for weeks. Elena did not merely get lucky. She revised the story her life was obeying. And then the universe rearranged to conform to her new script. Step 4. Daily deliberate reinforcement. Your new narrative must be practiced repeatedly until it becomes second nature. Use the following practice for the next 21 days. First, write your old belief at the top of a blank page. Strike it out boldly, literally, with a heavy line through the words. Then write your new truth beneath it using clear, affirmative language. Read this new truth aloud 3 times with feeling both morning and night. And each time you recite it, visualize yourself already living inside it. Remember this guiding note: the universe is not deaf to you. Your words are not hollow or idle. As Florence Scovel Shinn taught, your word is your wand, and when you voice a new truth with conviction, the unseen begins to reorganize, to bring it into form. Therefore, right now, pick up a pen. Write down one new belief you are claiming today as your own. Declare it aloud, not as a wish, but as a royal decree. Then, if you feel led, share it publicly so others can witness it and add their agreement. Because as you write and speak, the universe is listening and responding. When you start living in conscious alignment with wealth, something quietly miraculous begins to unfold. You shift from obsessing over having enough to embodying the felt reality of more than enough. This precisely is what I call the overflow lifestyle. Overflow is not merely a healthy bank balance, though that is certainly part of it. Overflow describes a state in which your inner cup is filled to such abundance that it naturally spills into other people's lives. It is the joy of knowing you are continually replenished, which frees you to give without anxiety or hesitation. The heart of overflow. Envision a grand crystal fountain set at the heart of a sunlit garden. Water pours in at the top, pure, bright, and seemingly endless, filling the upper basin until it spills over, streaming into the lower bowls and then into the pool beneath, nourishing the surrounding flowers. You are that very fountain. The source continually pours into you without interruption. Your primary task is to remain open, resisting the urge to grasp the water, and instead allowing it to flow freely through you. When you live from overflow, you no longer fear giving because you understand that giving does not deplete. It circulates and sustains the flow. And circulation is the essence of life itself. Anonymous giving. Here is a quiet secret about the most powerful form of generosity: it is giving that does not require recognition or credit. I knew a man who month after month would slip into his neighborhood grocery and discreetly pay off several shoppers' balances before they reached the register. Those customers never discovered who had helped them. They only felt the sudden relief of freedom. That man told me I never do it for thanks. I do it because I like the way it feels when I walk out the door. That feeling, light, generous, quietly joyful, is the signature of overflow. And here's the beautiful part: The more consistently he gave like this, the more opportunities seemed to find him. Job offers favorable deals and new friendships appeared, doors opening in every direction. Why did this happen? Because his actions demonstrated trust in the flow. He released it, and so the flow returned to him. Overflow in the everyday. Overflow does not need to be grandiose or theatrical. It might look like paying for the coffee of the person waiting behind you. It could be offering an extra generous tip to your delivery driver. It might be sending a kind, unprompted message to someone who has been unusually quiet. In a state of overflow, even the smallest gestures create wide, lasting ripples. Here lies the paradox. The more generously you release, the more capacity you appear to have to keep on giving. Ordinary logic can't quite account for it. It functions like a law, consistent, reliable, and repeatable. Affirmations to embody the overflow lifestyle. Allow the following statements to settle deeply into your spirit. My life overflows with wealth, joy, and kindness. What I give returns to me multiplied under grace in perfect ways. I am always supplied, and my giving is a joy. I trust the source to fill me again and again. Speak them slowly, and as you do, envision yourself in that sunlit garden, your inner fountain brimming and overflowing. Picture the bright joy on the faces of those whose lives are uplifted by your overflow. Notice the lightness and ease expanding in your chest as you affirm, living free from fear's tight grip. Fear is the chief force that throws a dam across the river of overflow. Fear leans close and murmurs, "Clutch what you have, or it will vanish." Yet you already know from lived experience that when you hold too tightly, life contracts and everything seems to shrink. The overflow lifestyle rests on trust, steady practice trust. It means knowing with calm conviction that the source cannot run dry. It asks you to live as if supply is inexhaustible, because in truth, it is. A brief overflow visualization. Gently close your eyes. Picture yourself standing beside a broad, shimmering river. It stretches so far that the opposite bank is beyond sight. The current moves steadily, gentle, unhurried, yet ceaseless. You take a step forward and wade into the water. The water lifts to your knees, then your waist, then your chest, warm, soothing, vibrantly alive. This river symbolizes money provision and the goodness of life continually flowing toward you. You cup your hands and gather some of the flow yours to steward and use. And still, regardless of how much you receive, the river's volume does not lessen. You may scoop, share, pour, and play it keeps arriving without pause. Let a small smile emerge. Acknowledge this as your truth from this moment. Practicing overflow in words and thoughts. The overflow lifestyle encompasses not only your actions, but also the language you speak and the thoughts you entertain. Speak generously when you talk about other people. Choose thoughts that honor and affirm the best about their success. Celebrate openly when someone else wins. Why? Because in overflow, another's gain is not your loss. It is evidence of the shared abundance available to all. Choosing overflow moves you out of a frantic competition and into a cooperative, graceful dance with life. You stop identifying as a small bucket scrambling for raindrops and recognize yourself as a river joined to the vast ocean. In that awareness, you experience genuine freedom. Therefore, make this your declaration: for today, I live in overflow. Say it once with presence. Say it twice with growing certainty. Repeat it until the phrase feels like warm sunlight resting on your skin. Because in the very moment you claim this identity, you start to embody and live it out. You have traveled the road of awakening to true wealth. You have welcomed money as a cherished ally. You have revised the narratives that once restrained you. You have sampled the deep joy of an overflowing life. And now you find yourself at a doorway. This is the instant to seal the current, not only for today or this week, but as the perpetual cadence and lasting rhythm of your entire life. Close your eyes gently, draw in a long, unhurried breath, and let it go. Once more, inhale and exhale. Notice your body loosening as your mind settles into quiet. In front of you rises a majestic golden gate with pillars so high their crowns are out of sight, glittering in full sunlight. The atmosphere hums with peace, heavy with promise. You know without the slightest doubt that beyond this entryway spreads a limitless realm, a domain of continual provision, precise timing, and divine supply. In this place, wealth is not wrestled from the world by strain. It arrives through harmonious alignment. The gate already stands open. Your only task is to cross the threshold. With every forward step, you set down something worn and heavy. The first step loosens fear. The next lets go of doubt. The next dissolves the ancient tale of not enough. The light deepens and warms as you advance, cloaking you in gold. And then, with a calm breath, you cross to the other side. You arrive within a meadow that stretches beyond the horizon. Emerald bright grass shimmers, and flowers of every hue open wide, each seeming to hum a small chord of joy. A soft wind moves through, carrying the scent of provision, sweet, renewing, unending. At the meadow's heart stands a fountain whose flow is pure, molten gold, gleaming and vibrant. You kneel at its edge, lift the golden water into your palms, and as you do, a voice rises from the core of your being. Child of the infinite, all that I have is yours. You were never meant to scrape or strain. You were created to walk in the flow. As you give, it returns. As you trust, it grows. As you speak, it is done. The golden stream slips between your fingers and back to the earth, yet the basin refills immediately, never losing its fullness. Now repeat the following lines, slowly allowing each syllable to soak through you like sunlight. I am one with the infinite supply. My wealth is constant, growing and overflowing. I give with joy and I receive with ease. The more I share, the more returns to me. I am always divinely guided in my finances. I trust the source of all to provide in perfect ways. Repeat them again, and once more. With every recitation, imagine the phrases etching themselves in luminous gold across your heart's inner walls. Now let these affirmations braid themselves together with sacred truths. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. My cup runneth over. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And let them also interlace with universal laws. Energy flows where attention goes. What I focus on expands. I am the vibration of abundance. Now make the final seal not as a petition, but as a clear decree addressed to the infinite. From this day forward, I live in the flow of infinite wealth. My needs are met before I even name them. Doors open before me. Opportunities find me with ease. Every bill is paid in full and on time with joy. My bank accounts overflow. My life is a river of giving and receiving without strain and without end. I am trusted with wealth because I use it for good. I am safe in abundance. I am secure in provision. I am at peace in the knowing that all is well, all is given, all is flowing. Do not hurry. Allow the quiet spaces between sentences to press the truth even deeper into your being. Picture yourself again in the golden meadow. The sky stretches without boundary. The fountain continues its tireless outpouring. From your feet, rivulets extend in every direction to your household, your kin, your vocation, your community, and beyond. Track one shining stream with your gaze. It moves into the hands of someone you love, then to someone they love, then on and on, eventually circling back to you, increased many times over. This is the principle at work. What you release returns to you, multiplied under grace and in perfectly ordered ways. Now rest here. For these few moments, breathe in the certainty of your wealth. No striving, no petitions, no second-guessing, only a calm openness to receive. When you open your eyes, know the current is sealed. It cannot be broken, because it was never merely your doing, it is sustained by the infinite. You have crossed the golden gate, and you will not go back. From this day onward, this is your dwelling. You walk this ground. You give from here, you receive here. The flow belongs to you. The overflow is yours. The immeasurable wealth is yours now and always.